Hey, how's it going, guys? This is Tom from UDS with another edition of UDS Interviews, our series where we chat to interesting people from around the world. Now, my guest this week is a band who have helped to shape the metalcore genre for over a decade, continuing to evolve their sound with the times, resulting in one of the most interesting, diverse, and vital discographies you're likely to find. And speaking of that discography, they're here to talk all about their upcoming album. It is my pleasure, of course, to welcome Tino from arguably the most handsomest band performing today, of Mice and Men.
Let's go. Hey, those are all amazing things. Thank you very much.
I speak no lie. Dude, how's it going today?
Doing so good, man. I've got my health, I've got music, and that's all I need. That's all I can ask for.
Absolutely. And we will talk about music in just a sec. But before we get to that, I need to get to know the real you. And the way I like to do that, and the way I like to get to know my new friends a bit better, is asking the hard-hitting questions. So prepare yourself. And that is Tino, if you were a type of sandwich, what kind of sandwich would you say best represents you as a person?
I would say a BLTA from Chef Tanya's Kitchen out here in Palm Springs. It's got a nice layer of greens for your health. It's got a smoked tofu meat style thing because I'm a vegan. And then there's what I like to call, she calls the crack cheese, which is just, it's so good. It's in your face. It's fun. And then you got some tomatoes in there, and it's just an all around good bite on toasted bread. You know what I mean? I'm layered, but at face value, I'm fun and exciting upon first bite. Wow, what an excitement. You know what I mean? So I guess that would be me. A vegan sandwich.
You and this sandwich sounds worth swimming the Atlantic for, so I'm definitely going to have to make a trip out that way. That sounds incredible. But speaking of incredible, your latest album, Echo, is out in just over a week, dropping December 3rd, if I've remembered my dates correctly.
9 days.
Oh,
I looked it up. Crazy.
Not long.
Yeah.
And you've already released a few tracks throughout the year just to give people a bit of a flavor of it. But
I would wager to say we basically released the entire album before putting it out there. It's that if you like it and you love it, hey, there's no surprises here. Support the band, listen to it. That's it. That's all we ask is people just to listen to it.
I mean,
Love it, buy it, collect it.
Exactly. And goddamn, you've released some really cool vinyl packages, which I'm definitely going to have to pick up for this as well.
Thank you so much.
But yeah, I mean, tracks like Mosaic are like some of like the best stuff I think that I've listened to your guys' stuff in I say so long ever. I think it's some of the best stuff you've ever done. So
thank you very much. I would agree.
I'm glad we're in agreement. But I was listening in a recent interview with Aaron that this was all recorded and written while you guys were all sort of isolated from each other. So what was that like as a process for you? Was it something that you enjoyed? Was it something that was a challenge? How was it for you?
It was both. It was a challenge and it was enjoyable. In the very beginning, we're very used to like going into the studio. The drums show up on the truck. The tech sets up the kit. You know what I mean? All the tones are all really good, and it's now I had to do it myself. And using technology, I've got my electric drum kit here, which is a mirror of my actual drum set. So I have all my bells and whistles. It's basically exactly like what I play live. And basically the learning curve was being a acoustic instrumentalist. I didn't know how to like use recording software and use all these different things and really micromanage how my sounds happen. We go to the producer and trust the producer. So now I'm the producer. Aaron's the producer. Alan's the producer. Phil's the producer. We're producing ourselves. So it was a challenge at first, but once the ball started to get rolling and we started completing songs and kind of like working together, very not dissimilar to how we're talking right now. We use Zoom all the time, and it's communicating and having conversations with each other, talking about the music. We're very fortunate to have been in many a studio sessions before, so we can speak the same language when it comes to expressing what the part needs, what idea we're thinking, or whatever. Like not everybody can do that, but we have a lot of practice doing that. So it just kind of, there was a natural feeling about it, but the challenge was, hey, this is totally different. You know, I'm tracking all my drums in my studio bedroom here, you know what I mean, on an electric kit. And I have a world of sounds from all of the times that I've recorded. I have all those drum samples to everything from Lars Ulrich to Dave Grohl, you know what I mean? Like these things exist in the world. So it was a fun and challenging process. And ultimately, once we finally started releasing the music, it started really feeling very validating and a very like, we felt very proud that like, damn, we did this ourselves. Like if we have to, we can put out professional sounding music because we've had the experience, and real big kudos to Aaron too. I mean, we couldn't have done this without his mixing and mastering and his knowledge of, he basically taught us all this stuff of how to do these things that we hadn't really thought too much of. So now it's kind of like not necessarily a well-oiled machine, but almost weekly we're saying, man, the workflow now is so easy than it was a year ago, you know, like how we trade files, how we do things. Hey, Tino, record some drums on this. I'll hop on there. Right. You know what I mean? Like I could do it, get it done in an hour, send it back to him, and it's ready to go. Like granted, I would love to have a big studio with my real drums in it one day. Maybe after a few more records.
I mean, I was going to ask, do you think that the process and the experiences you've made and had in making this record, do you think that they will pass on to future records that might be in a more sort of traditional setting? Do you think that you've learned things that will, you know, go with you on your journey as a musician?
Absolutely. I mean, that's kind of the cool thing about being a musician is it's like, it's this journey, you know what I mean? Like there was a point in my life where I never thought I would record into a computer. You know, it was always like, I want to record onto tape. Yep. I want to be recorded in a big SSL console. Like I've had the opportunity to do those things and to learn from that and be able to implement it now with technology and computers and like how things are fast evolving. Like there are virtual drum rooms that mimic the sound of Abbey Road Studios. You know what I'm saying? Like these things exist. I didn't know that before. So now you could get a plugin for $100 and hear what your drums or your instrument would sound like in Abbey Road. It's not spot on, but to a listener, your audience, you know what I mean? It does the task of setting the mood and creating the emotions that a natural setting can have. And it was just a really cool process to like, it felt like 2020, you know what I mean? Like it felt like, damn, this is how we're making records now. Like it's pretty crazy. I used to think you needed tons of rack mount gear and, you know, all kinds of, you know, you walk into a big studio and you don't know how anything works, you know, and now you can learn it on a computer, implement it in a old school traditional sense where I still have, you know, a responsive reactive where I can use my muscle memory, but at the same time, it's I don't know, it's cool. And though it was scary at first, it has now been such an incredibly validating situation that we happenstanced upon. And now we can really stream of consciousness, write, record, have these ideas and present them to the label in a professional way and have the label get excited. And then some of these songs end up topping charts on radio. And that just completely mind blowing. Like it could be done in your bedroom, you guys. Like we proved it. And though we have a lot of experience in learning, there's tons of videos where Aaron breaks stuff down, and it's just been a really cool process. We've been streaming a lot of it on Twitch. So it's kind of demystifying the, like, you guys can do this yourself. Like, we're doing it ourselves. There are tools in place. And if you got to do it that way, you got it. Or if you want to spend 6 figures to go into a massive recording studio, you could do that too.
I mean, I've always said that there's nothing more punk rock than DIY, and it's great to see that, you know, as you say, anyone with a little bit of, you know, of passion and the, you know, the know-how, they can make a professional album in their bedroom, and that's just awesome.
It's pretty insane, dude. It really does feel like the future, and you know, we were forced to do things this way, but we left it to ourselves and we entrusted ourselves. The label trusted us. Our fans trusted us. You know what I mean? Exactly. We would never put out something that we felt like was subpar. So we really challenged ourselves to make something important and make something that really reflected who we are as musicians and who we are as creatives too, where, hey, if we got to do this ourselves, we'll do it ourselves. Like, we need this music. We need these songs. So we're going to craft them and then present them how we hear them, with no other outside influence. And not that producers really, really influence us. They're more of a coach than a like influencing, but we had to coach ourselves now. And so it was kind of like, we had to communicate a lot. We had to say, hey, this part's sick. This part, let's try something else. Let's add something here. Hey, Tino, go crazy on the drums on this part. You know what I mean? Like, that was one of the fun things, is I didn't have a producer being like, hey, dial it back. Cause that's one thing every producer will say to a wacky, wavy, arm flailing, inflatable drummer like me, is I go left to my own devices. You hear it on Mosaic. You know what I mean? Like, you hear it on songs where normally a producer would be like, hey, there's a great lyric happening here. Do not overplay this part. It's about sending. I was like, nope, I'm jumping on the motorcycle and we're going. You know what I mean? So
I was literally going to say with Mosaic, because I'm a guitarist in inverted commas, because, you know, I try. But anyway, so that means that normally when I'm listening to a track, I will air guitar along the first time. Mosaic, I did notice I consciously started air drumming, and I'm not a drummer, but because of the drums and, like, you know, the fact that it's, for lack of a better phrase, uncensored Tino, it just had me drumming away to it. So it definitely has paid off. And thank you.
We tried to keep it as honest as possible, you know, and it really was. It was up to us to deliver the best of Mice and Men has ever sounded, and the most honest, because it really came from our lives, how we were feeling, and then we put it into song, put it into lyrics, and now it's about to be a physical body of work there will be a collection of a time in our lives where we struggled through change and somehow overcame adversity with the music. And now we have something to show for it, as opposed to, you know, nothing to show for it, or, you know, and we've connected. We've spent the entire year releasing music, really curating the experience for our listeners, because we kind of needed that help too. You know, these songs helped us as we were writing them. And so we felt like it was important to release it all in a way of, through these EPs, to be able to keep things in chapters and to keep things with a somewhat of a forward momentum to it, and actively engaging our audience. So that was something that we really felt was important to kind of like make sure that we were doing something that was honest with us, and in turn that always resonates the most with our fans.
Absolutely. And sort of speaking of engaging with your audience, you didn't just spend lockdown making this record. Could you tell us a little bit about Fuego Friday?
Yeah, man. It's a lot of fun. Like I said, we've been on Twitch, and it's something that I've done for, I mean, probably since I've had Twitter, because my username's always been Young Fuego, a very old nickname from my early touring days. But that kind of turned into Fuego Fridays, which is like a new music, exciting, like positive community of listening to new music in what I'm calling the new metal renaissance. Not new metal, but like brand new metal music there are bands, you got a band like Exodus who have been around, arguably one of the biggest names in thrash metal. They just put out a brand new record that's scathing. You know what I mean? Like, how many of metalcore fans are listening to Exodus right now, or even know who they are? Like, I would hope that they do, but the younger generation and, a lot of the audience doesn't know that there's new music happening all the time. And what's exciting is the conversation can happen around a Mice and Men releasing new music, because basically from here on out, we're always going to be releasing new music. Sharp Tone understands that we want to just have music out for our audience, because that's what you do. Like, you don't just sit back and like, oh, we're going to really write this one. We're going to write it. And it's like, no, like, our music is our life. It's our experiences. So Fuego Friday ends up being where we can come and share new music that comes out, and we talk about Mice and Men, and we talk about other bands, and we kind of discuss how awesome it is being a part of a metal community and an alternative lifestyle where not everybody understands it. It's not pop music, it's not generally consumed. And that's important because there's real topics. We read into the lyrics, we get deep with these songs, because as musicians, things I would like to help audiences and listeners understand that these are crafted art pieces. This isn't a Starbucks drink. You know what I mean? You're not slamming it down in 5 minutes before you go to work. You know what I mean? These are people's lives. These are important messages that people are saying. And I think in this immediate instant gratification era, the information super highway stuff getting crammed down your throat every 15 seconds, you know what I mean? Like, people are losing the attention to what I feel like is a timeless craft, which is creating music, but especially metal, because not everybody A, understands it, and B, can do it. It takes a lot of skill. It takes a lot of effort. It takes a lot of commitment to be able to be a metal musician. So it just kind of like, I like to bring awareness to that, and it's fun listening to music. I love DJing and I love music in general. Like, I do after parties and stuff like that after some of our headline shows. And, it's just fun for me to kind of like continue the music conversation outside of being a creative, because I am a fan as well. And that's, I would wager to say most musicians are music fans. That's why we started.
Absolutely. And watching some of the streams, like there was one where I can't remember the name of the act, but it's essentially an orchestra of drummers, and just the passion and the energy that was coming out of it, but also the passion and the energy that you were exuding as the viewer. And you were pausing at these moments, sort of rewinding, just to sort of demonstrate and sort of highlight all like the bits that you found really super impressive. And in a time not just where I feel like there's, as you say, a lack of attention span, but also a ton of negativity, it's really nice to have a place where there was just a lot of positivity about stuff that a community can all get on board with. So yeah.
Absolutely, dude. Thank you for noticing. That's so odd. Like, I just got chills hearing you say that. Like, it's the best part of my week, and really just being able to connect with music lovers in general. Like, it doesn't even matter. Like, I just love that connection. And I think this music community has brought the best things in my life. It has made my dreams reality. And the only thing that I can hope to do is just kind of spread that and hope that somebody else can feel that same way as me, however that means in their life, And so I liked every space that we and of Mice and Men create is a community. It is a place where people can come and be around like-minded people. Like we say, like if you ever come to our shows and you come alone, you're not alone. Like all the people around you like our music, like what we're about, which kind of means we share similar interests, which means you're around tons of friends, so in the Mice and Men community, in the comments, in the replies, in the, you're in a community, in the Twitch streams, it's something that we felt like is important to build. And I love music. So we're going to talk about it and have a positive place where you can hear new music and hear the good side of it too. You know what I mean? Because anybody that's creating anything, it's worth a damn. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter what it is. It's worth it to listen to it, understand, and grow from it. And I think that's everyone can get caught up in listening to the same thing over and over and over. And even I myself am finding new bands and being excited about bands with a couple hundred listens. And I'm like, this band needs to be bigger. More people need to hear this. This is great music. So I think it's just an awesome platform and a great community. Twitch really, from writing songs on Twitch to sharing music on Twitch to everything, that's where it's going on right now. And that's really been a special place for us to connect with our fans and be ourselves. You know what I mean? And it kind of demystifies the whole thing. But like I've always said, like, we're not rock stars. We're just music fans that make music, and people like it because we like it. Because if we didn't like it, then we'd be wasting our time, and we're not doing that. So
hell yeah. I mean, the way I see it is that some of my some of my best friends, should I say, are the ones that when I've walked either like at school or college or whatever, and I've seen they've worn a band shirt of a band that I really dig, and like we just got chatting from there. And this almost feels like the digital version of that, where you just like, you like that band, I like that band, let's talk, and like build a friendship that sort of springboards off that. So that's
the future. You know what I mean? That's how these things evolve. It used to be that, but now like schools are shut down. So how do you? How do you see that? I don't know, but there are communities. And if you seek it out, I like to, it can be a little bit of a scary process making new friends. But at the same time, when you share so many commonalities, I think it's important. And as this human experience is, communication with other people, music is one of the oldest forms of communication. And if we can use that to bring more emotion and more personability to each other and to this, it makes our experience as individuals better, because we're only here we're limited edition. You know what I mean? Like this flesh body will decompose. Like, we're not here forever. So it's about making meaningful connections with people and things that make you feel good, like music, and like a community of people that, are there for you. And I actually just saw a badge. It's been like 18 months now that we've been on Twitch. That's like, wow, mind blowing, dude. Like, damn, so crazy. So,
I mean, it's been 18 months well spent, and long may it continue. So you did briefly mention live shows, which fortunately around the world seem to be coming back slowly but surely. And I noticed on your website that you have a European and UK tour planned for next year, which, don't get me wrong, I'm not complaining. That suits me down to the ground. But I did I noticed that you haven't got a US tour booked just yet. Is that something that fans can expect in future?
Absolutely. We actually just got a new booking agency. And so that's kind of what we've been figuring out. The reality behind the European tour is that's been scheduled since 2019.
Oh my God.
So these have been continuously rescheduled.
Yep.
And because we work so closely with those promoters, it's 3 years in the making. Mm-hmm. So with American touring, it's a lot more, because things are constantly changing. It's a lot faster. So those kinds of things will come about when they do, but we're definitely looking to tour as long as it's safe. And as long as, everyone can, not only us, but our fans too, we didn't want to be part of the wave of first bands out to go out there, because we didn't know what to expect. You know what I mean? And so in a lot of that, we've been able to, take our health and our business very seriously, and make sure that we can not only protect ourselves, but protect our fans too, because we would never, music is entertainment. Music is not a life risk. You know what I mean? Yep. You shouldn't, you can listen to music at home. You know what I mean? Live shows will come back when it's safe. We will pump up the bass. You'll be feeling you'll be feeling fire from the stage. You know what I mean? Like, it'll come back, but when it's safe, and that's something that we're not trying to rush into anything, as we've always lived our band name, the best laid plans of mice and men often go awry. So we want to play it as safe as possible and really be strategic about it, so we can have the best experience and really come back and have it be something that is very special, as opposed to, feeling trepidatious about it. We need to feel confident so our fans can feel confident, and our, ticket holders alike feel like they're coming back to a place where they once felt safe,
Absolutely. You don't want to do half measures. If it's going to be
Absolutely not.
The experience, it's got to be the full thing. And
Right.
Whenever once you guys are able to get over to the UK, let me tell you, the beers are on me. The beers are on me.
Yes.
But,
yes, please.
This is pretty much all the questions I've got. So, Tino, first of all, thank you so much for your time. But
yeah, of course.
I have one last question, and it is the most important question of the day, and that is: we are UDS, which stands for Upside Down Shark. And don't ask me why we settled with that name. Thought it up many years ago now, but we're in way too deep to change that now. But be that as it may, Tino, what is your favorite shark? And it could be real, it could be fictional, it could be a shark from a movie or a shark from nature. But what would you say your favorite shark is?
The first one that came to mind is the megalodon.
Oh.
It's one of the oldest predators on the planet, one of the largest predators on the planet. And I mean, I would be terrified to see one of those things. I've only seen a shark in real life that was about yay big. Somebody accidentally caught it in the bay in San Diego.
Wow.
It was like a tiger shark or something like that. It was beautiful. And then the only other shark experience I've had was in Australia. The band and Corey Taylor were bodyboarding in the ocean, and we were all hanging out after one of the festivals. And then all of a sudden a siren goes off and people are running out of the water because there was a shark. And we were like,
oh, wow,
holy shit, there was a shark in there. So, I mean, if it was upside down, I guess it probably wouldn't have been a threat because it might have been deceased. But,
Wow. I mean, if there's ever a flex, it's saying that you were bodyboarding with Corey Taylor in Australia. What a way to end it. Tino, seriously, thank you so much for your time today. It's been a great topic, conversation of sharks, sandwiches, music, and Twitch. Let's do it again sometime.
Yeah, new album Echo out, 9 days. By the time you're hearing this, it's probably already out. Go listen to it. Check it out. Come see us on tour. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and be awesome.
You heard the man. Go do it.